All right, I was, first of all, this is not a hangout, you guys. I'm just using it for auto upload. I do it the other way, but it just takes too long. So hopefully the audio is fine, and so on and so forth. Now, um, I want to say a couple things about feminism and anti-feminism, which I think is somewhat metaphorical for the SJW, anti-SJW thing. Um, I think it's remarkable how many of the complaints of the anti-feminists and MRA are similar to complaints, things they're complaining about. So, for example, really don't like the term rape culture and patriarchy. We're told that this means every man is an oppressor and so on and so forth, right? They don't like aspersions being cast upon a group. Now, we would all admit that men, especially men in a certain nation, have cultures, sports they like, and things they share, hobbies, and all the characteristics of a culture of their own. They don't want that culture to be, a, an aspersion cast that is too rapey, for example. They're complaining about being cast with this characterization, and yet they're also casting that characterization on feminists, and in some cases, women. Um, I just today, today somebody was commenting about women needing to learn to control their emotions, and I said, well, everybody does, and he said, well, yeah, but women have, you know, men have more control of their emotions. I said, not in my experience, because see, I think that's where, if anybody's familiar with the Wizard of Oz, the Emerald City, everything is green, and the reason is because they give you green sunglasses when you go in. Right now, let's think about this carefully. It's a very good metaphor because we're not talking about the emperor wears no clothes. The emperor wore no clothes. If he looked at himself, he saw no clothes, right? Everybody looking at him saw no clothes. He was just delusional. But in the Emerald City, people were wearing green glasses. They really did see everything in green. The city really was green for them, and them was everybody. You might say the city isn't really green, but if you say, like, whatever the psychological effects of living in a monochrome green world are, maybe green's calming, maybe monochrome's aggravating, so green would be calming and or aggravating, whatever the case would be, they're experiencing neurologically the greenness of it's even more green than building a green city could possibly be, because even the sky and everything will have been reduced to a green tint, right? So, for all intents and purposes, they are experiencing a green world. The world seems green to them. And this is how these predispositions of bias work. Now, I don't think that men or Americans or anybody should particularly be subject to any of these just inherently illogical assertions. They might have some statistical grain of truth, be justifiable in some sense, but they don't really get to the gist of the situation. You shouldn't answer a bigotry by balancing the bigotry out. However, it's very hard to get people to realize that it's wrong to cast aspersions on groups until they're in a group that has aspersions cast upon it. They don't like it very much. The idea that all men are a little too rapey or rape tolerant, they don't like that, right? It's offensive to them. These are the kinds of aspersions that are cast on other groups that, on the other hand, seem justifiable or statistically, or you just got to face facts. Well, you just got to face facts. Uh, Outside of prison, most victims of rape are women and perpetrators men. No, not really. Well, you'd have to face the facts, whatever they were. Let's put it that way, right? You couldn't struggle about this aspersion because, but I'm an innocent man. No, you would have to say, but your culture is producing this, and you would have to accept that in the same way that you say, oh, all stereotypes are true. Of course, there's a grain of truth that would have to apply to you. It's easy to say, oh, all stereotypes are a little bit true, until you deal with, 30, 40, 50 years of, white men want to cheat you. They want to rob you. They want to foreclose on your home. They want to give you a loan that then steal your home. They want to make money off of you and sucker you into taking the fall for them. You don't want to face those things as statistical, or let's look at the numbers, right? But you're feeling some of it. You're kind of like, well, the word rape culture means all men like to rape. So saying Compton African American culture is all criminal, it's kind of saying they're all criminals. And yet there's one kid in there just trying to get out of Compton with his music or with his electronic ability, programming computers, working hard at a blue collar job. And that guy gets cast into this group, and he's like, wait a second, yeah, I know there's people around here. He's supposed to go, well, it's fair everybody thinks I'm a criminal because I am very similar to criminals. And if I get shot in the street by somebody who goes, oh my God, a criminal, I would have to understand that.